longest lizard. An average male weighs 175 to 200 pounds and measures 8.5 feet long. The shingleback lizard of Australia has a thick, short, rounded tail that's shaped just like its head. This confuses predators, giving the slow, sleepy reptile a better chance to escape. Horned lizards, also often called horny toads, can squirt blood from their eyeballs to attract predators. This only happens in extreme cases, but they can shoot it up to 3 feet. The longest reptile is the reticulated python, measuring over 32 feet. The world's smallest snake is the Martinique thread snake, which measures just over 4 inches long when fully grown. Some snakes have more than 300 pairs of ribs. Snakes have a taste sensor on the roof of their mouth. They use their tongue to pick up scents in the air, then deliver them back to the sensor inside their mouth. Snakes have no eyelids. Several species of snakes, including the spitting cobra, fake death by flipping over on their backs when threatened. The female boom slang, a type of African tree snake, looks so much like a tree branch that birds, its main prey, will land right on it. Boas and pythons kill by squeezing or constricting their prey. These constrictors wrap themselves around their prey and use their powerful muscles to suffocate them. Vipers inject their prey with venom through their hollow, needle-pointed fangs. Venomous snakes kill more than 100,000 people each year. Female pythons keep their eggs warm by coiling on top of them and shivering their bodies to generate heat. Tortoises live on land, while turtles live mostly in water. The marine leatherback turtle can weigh as much as 1,800 pounds, with an 8-foot shell. Sea turtles can hold their breath for several hours. Sea turtles absorb a lot of salt from the seawater in which they live. They excrete excess salt from their eyes, so it often looks as though they are crying. Giant tortoises can live more than 200 years. The ribs and backbones of turtles and tortoises are connected to their shell. Shells are made of solid plates called scutes, which are fused together. The domed top is called the carapace. Alligators lack large teeth and powerful jaws, they lift their young with incredible care. As an alligator's teeth wear down, they are replaced with new ones. As a result, the average alligator can go through 2,000 to 3,000 teeth over its lifetime. Earth's largest crocodilian is the saltwater crocodile, which can grow as long as 23 feet and weigh as much as 2,200 pounds. That's a lot of pounds. I'm sorry that all of the measurements are always in American measurements. I can't help that. So I'm sorry. The next category is going to be about architecture. Amazing architecture facts. Taliesin is regarded as a prime example of Frank Lloyd Wright's organic architecture. The house and 600-acre estate is in Spring Green, Wisconsin. The Sydney Opera House in Australia is a complex of theaters and halls linked beneath its famous white roof, the design of which suggests billowing sails. The largest sail is as tall as a 20-story building. Originally built for the 1962 World's Fair, Seattle's 605-foot Space Needle was the tallest building west of the Mississippi when it was completed. The futuristic blueprints for the Space Needle evolved from artist Edward E. Carlson's visionary doodle on a placemat. The resulting design looks like a flying saucer balanced on 3 giant supports. The Space Needle was built to withstand winds of up to 200 miles per hour. The Krzywy Domek, or Crooked House in Sopot, Poland, isn't a home, but part of the Resident Shopping Center. Its wavy architecture looks like a funhouse mirror reflection. The Crooked House's bent lines and distorted walls and doors were inspired by the fairy tale illustrations of Jan Marson Sanser and Per Dahlberg. The Empire State Building in New York City was the world's tallest building when it opened in 1931, soaring 1,454 feet to the top of its lightning rod. More than 3,000 workers took less than 14 months to build the Empire State Building, the framework erected at a pace of 4.5 stories per week. The pyramids of Giza, Egypt, are the only wonders of the ancient world that still stand. They were built between about 2650 and 2500 BC. The Great Pyramid is the largest pyramid ever built. It is 482 feet tall and contains some 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing an average 2.7 tons. At 1,483 areas beneath the main floor kept wild animals contained in preparation for events. Trapdoors allowed gladiators to make surprise appearances and the dead bodies to be hauled away. At 630 feet tall, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, is the nation's tallest monument. The distance between its two legs is equal to its height. That's interesting. The towering steel structure was designed by Finnish-American architect Eero Saarinen in 1947 and completed in 1965. The top of the Gateway Arch is accessible by two trams, one in each leg, that are made up of 8 cylindrical 5-seat compartments. The 110-story Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower, in Chicago, was the tallest building in the world from 1974 until 1998. Willis Tower visitors can take a 45-second elevator ride to the 103rd floor, 1,353 feet up, and stand on the ledge, a series of windows that extend from the building. The ledge is made of 3 layers of half-inch thick glass laminated into one seamless unit. It is built to withstand 4 tons of pressure and can hold 10,000 pounds. I would not be standing there, I don't think. I don't like the sound of that. In the ancient Mayan city of Chichen Itza, Mexico, is the temple of Cococan, or El Castillo. Each side of the pyramid has a staircase made up of 91 steps that leads to the top. The 1,776-foot One World Trade Center in New York City is the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. The Shanghai Tower is the second tallest building in the world at 2,073 feet, after the 2,717-foot Burj Khalifa. The Shanghai Tower's elevator travels at 3,543 feet per minute. Wow. Completed in 1439, the Strasbourg Cathedral in France was the world's tallest building until 1874. The first skyscraper was pioneered in Chicago with the 138-foot tall Home Insurance Building in 1885. China has more skyscrapers than any other country. India's Taj Mahal was commissioned by Shah Jahan to honor his wife Mumtaz, who died in childbirth. Couple goals. It took 20,000 workers and 1,000 elephants 22 years to build the Taj Mahal. The structure and its grounds cover 42 acres. The terms log house and log cabin actually denoted 2 distinct types of dwellings. Log cabin timbers were left round, while log houses were made from notched square-hewn logs. Cupboards originated with pioneers and were truly cupboards, a shelf built from a single board to hold cups and dishes. It was only later that they expanded the ancient Greek Empire surrounding the Mediterranean all the way east to India. The Hellenistic period began when Alexander the Great died and ended when Rome conquered Greece. The Romans copied much of the Greek culture, including their gods, architecture, language, music, and even how they ate. Ancient Greeks often ate dinner while lying on their sides. The first two letters of the Greek alphabet, alpha and beta, made up the word alphabet. Their alphabet was the first one with vowels. Ancient Greeks wore draped tunics called chitons. Ancient Greeks loved the theater, but only male actors were allowed to perform. In Greek mythology, a sphinx had a woman's head and a lion's body. Ancient Greeks believed their gods lived atop Mount Olympus. They were ruled by Zeus, the king of the gods. Draco was an elected Athenian leader who has established a written code of laws. Many punishments were particularly harsh. The adjective draconian is now commonly used to describe similarly unforgiving rules or laws. The very first Olympic Games were held in 776 BC in the Greek city of Olympia. The statue of Zeus at Olympia was constructed by Phidias around 435 BC. Standing 40 feet high with a 20-foot base, the statue of Zeus was one of the 7 wonders of the world. The statue depicted a seated Zeus holding a golden figure of the goddess of victory in one hand and a staff topped with an eagle in the other. After the gods were outlawed by Christian Emperor Theodosius, the statue was taken as a prize to Constantinople, where it was destroyed in a fire around 462 AD. Then how do we know about it? Greek hero Pheidippides ran from Athens to Sparta to request help in the Battle of Marathon against the Persians. After the Greeks won, he ran 25 miles from Marathon to Athens to announce the victory. This is where the word marathon originated. Spiked dog collars were invented in ancient Greece and were originally designed to protect the dog's throat from wolf attacks. Alexander the Great never lost a battle. Greek scientist Hippocrates is called the father of Western medicine. Doctors still take the Hippocratic Oath today. Coins in ancient Greece Most of those splendid Greek statues you see in off-white marble used to be painted in realistic colors. We know because tiny bits of paint remain embedded in the nooks and crannies. Very cool. Okay. Next, we've got facts about games, and we are going to start with facts about pinball. If you've ever wondered about pinball. Pinball was invented in the 1930s. Pinball derived from the 19th century game bagatelle. Bagatelle involved a billiards cue and a playing field full of holes. Some early pinball arcades awarded players for high scores. In the mid-1930s, machines were introduced that provided direct monetary payouts. This quickly earned pinball a reputation as a gambling device. Starting in the 1940s, New York City Mayor LaGuardia declared pinball parlors akin to casinos, ushering in an era of pinball prohibition. Chicago, Los Angeles, and other cities followed, banning the game. Despite or because of the ban, pinball became a favorite pastime among adolescents and teens in the 1950s. Gottlieb's Humpty Dumpty, designed by Harry Mabs in 1947, was the first pinball game to feature flippers that allowed the player to use hand-eye coordination to influence gravity and chance. In 1948, designer Stephen Kordek repositioned the flippers at the bottom of the playfield, and the adjustment became the industry standard. New York's pinball embargo lasted until 1976. City officials destroyed 11,000 machines before it was lifted. The ban was lifted after council members voted 6-0 to legalize pinball in the Big Apple. The turning point, writer and pinball wizard Roger Sharp called his shots during a demonstration in front of the New York City Council, proving that pinball was indeed a game of skill. Though pinball popularity receded with the advent of the video game, it enjoyed the first of several revivals later in the 1970s, thanks to its association with such rock and roll luminaries as The Who, Elton John, and Kiss. In 1991, Bally's introduced the Addams Family game to tie in with the release of the movie. The Addams Family became one of the best-selling pinball games of all time. I did not know that there was so much to know about pinball. Okay. We can come back and do this category if we have time at the end, but I think it would be interesting. Okay. We are now going to do facts about poison, which should be interesting. This is under the health and human body, so facts about poison. More than half of poison exposures occur in children under age 6, and most poisonings involve medications and vitamins, household and chemical personal care products, and plants. close to 90% of all poisonings occur at home. Mystery novels are filled with stories of characters choosing to off their enemies with arsenic. Colorless and odorless, this close relative of phosphorus exists in a variety of compounds, not all of which are poisonous. Women in Victorian times used to rub a diluted arsenic compound into their skin to improve their complexions. Some modern medications used to treat cancer actually contain arsenic. When certain arsenic compounds are concentrated, they are deadly. Arsenic has been blamed for widespread death through groundwater contamination. Many historians believe that Napoleon died of arsenic poisoning while imprisoned because significant traces of arsenic were found in his body by forensics experts 200 years after his death. At the time Napoleon lived, wallpaper and paint often contained arsenic-laced pigments, and so he may have been exposed to the poison in his everyday surroundings. Emerald green, a color of paint used by Impressionist painters, contained an arsenic-based pigment. Some historians suggest that Van Gogh's neurological problems had a great deal to do with the use of emerald green paint in large quantities. Every part of the perennial herb belladonna is poisonous, but the berries are especially dangerous. The poison attacks the nervous system instantly, causing a rapid pulse, hallucinations, convulsions, ataxia, and coma. Wolf's bane was used as an arrow poison by the ancient Chinese, and its name comes from the Greek word meaning dart. Wolf's bane takes a while to work, but when it does, it causes extreme anxiety, chest pain, and death from respiratory arrest. Meadow saffron can be boiled and dried, and it still retains all of its poisonous power. As little as 7 milligrams of this stuff could cause colic, paralysis, and heart failure. Hemlock, used to execute Socrates, is poisonous down to the last leaf and will often send you into a coma before it finishes you for good. Ricin is a waste product left behind when castor beans are processed for their oil. It is extremely lethal, and in its concentrated form, just a few grains can kill. Even eating castor beans can cause damage. It has been used experimentally in cancer treatment to kill targeted cells. A Bulgarian dissident living in London was killed by ricin carried on the tip of an umbrella by an assassin. The skin of 2 frogs in Colombia yields batrachotoxin that has been used in poison darts. Even tiny amounts can cause heart failure. Anthrax is caused by bacteria Bacillus anthracis. next facts are going to be about Jupiter, the planet. It takes 43.2 minutes for the light from the sun to reach Jupiter, across an average distance of 484 million miles. It takes about 12 Earth years for Jupiter to orbit the sun. The surface gravity of Jupiter is more than 2.5 times greater than that of Earth. Ammonia and water in the plant's atmosphere appear as swirls and markings through a telescope. The main components of the planet's atmosphere are hydrogen and helium. As of 2023, Jupiter has 92 known moons, though only 57 are named. All of Jupiter's moons, together with smaller moonlets, form a satellite system called the Jovian system. Jupiter's 4 largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, are some of the largest in the solar system. Ganymede is the biggest. It's even larger than Mercury. In fact, Ganymede is the 9th largest object in our solar system. It is the only moon we've discovered with a magnetic field. The moon Io is considered to be the most geologically active object in our solar system. Astronomers have watched some of Io's 400 plus active volcanoes erupt, and a few of its mountains rise higher than Mount Everest. On March 2nd, 1998, the spacecraft Galileo discovered a liquid ocean on Jupiter's moon, Europa. The surface of the moon Callisto is shaped by impact craters. Jupiter has an ocean, but not of water. It is made of liquid hydrogen. Jeez. Jupiter does have rings, but they're made of dust and pale in comparison to Saturn's. They were spotted by Voyager 1. Jupiter's diameter is more than 88,840 miles across. The diameter of Earth is around 7,918 miles. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to perform a flyby. Jupiter rotates in about 10 hours, giving it the shortest day of any planet. That's interesting that it has the shortest day, but like way longer, of a year. The Great Red Spot, a storm, has been observed for at least 3 centuries. Jupiter has a powerful magnetic field, significantly is slang for legs. The real McCoy means sincere, genuine, the real thing. Hotsy-totsy means perfect. A speakeasy is a place where alcohol was illegally sold and drunk during Prohibition. And the bee's knees means excellent, outstanding. In the 1930s, we have I'll be a monkey's uncle, a sign of disbelief. I don't believe it. Girl Friday means a secretary or female assistant. Juke joint is a casual and inexpensive establishment with drinking, dancing, and blues music, typically in the southeastern United States. Skivvies are men's underwear. In the 1940s, we have blockbuster, meaning a huge success. Cool means excellent, clever, sophisticated, fashionable, or enjoyable. Cool is a slang term. Sitting in the hot seat means in a highly uncomfortable or embarrassing situation. And a smooch is a kiss. In the 1950s, Big Brother is watching you means someone of authority is monitoring your actions. Hi-fi means high fidelity, a record player or turntable. A hipster is an innovative and trendy person. In the 1960s, groovy means cool, hip, excellent. Hippie, derived from hipster, a young adult who rebelled against established institutions, criticized middle-class values, opposed the Vietnam War, and promoted sexual freedom. In the 1970s, catch you on the flip side means see you later. My brother, my mom, and I always say smell you on the flip side. So that's funny. Dig it means to like or understand something. Get down or boogie means to dance. Pump iron is to lift weights. In the 1980s, bodacious means beautiful. A dweeb is a nerd or someone who is not cool. Fly means cool, very hip. Gnarly means exceptional or very cool. Wicked means excellent or great. And yuppie is a young urban professional, a college-educated person with a well-paying job who lives near a big city, often associated with a materialistic and superficial personality. In the 1990s, diss means to show disrespect. Get jiggy means to dance or flirt. What's up means what's up or how are you. And word means yes, I agree. Boudica's lived a life of conspicuous wealth on borrowed Roman money. When it came time to pay, he was forced to bequeath half his kingdom to the Romans. The other half was left for his daughters. The Romans, however, got greedy. On Prasutagus' death, they moved to seize all Iceni lands as payment for the dead king's debt. When the widow Boudica challenged the Romans, they publicly flogged her and raped her daughters. While most of the Roman army in Britain was busy annihilating the Druids in the west, Boudica led the Iceni and other aggrieved Celtic peoples on a bloody rebellion that reverberated back to Rome. Boudica's warriors annihilated the vaunted Roman Ninth Legion and laid waste to the Roman cities of Colchester, London, and St. Albans. Boudica's vengeance knew no bounds and was exacted on both Romans and fellow Britons who supported them. Upwards of 80,000 people fell victim to her wrath. The Romans were floored by the ferocity of Boudica's attack. Nero actually considered withdrawing his army from Britain. But the Romans regrouped, and later a seasoned force of 1,200 legionaries trounced Boudica's 100,000-strong rebel army in a decisive battle. The defeated Boudica chose suicide by poison over capture. Today, a statue of the Great Boudica can be found near Westminster Pier in London. Testament to the veneration of British still hold for Boudica as their first heroine. I did not know about all that. The next are about Empress Jingo. Our next killer queen is Empress Jingo, who led the Japanese in the conquest of Korea in the early 3rd century. In 1881, she became the first woman to be featured on a Japanese banknote. No small feat given the chauvinism of Imperial Japan. More than 1,700 years after her rule, Empress Jingo is still revered as a goddess in Japan. Jingo's success as a warrior queen may be attributed to the irresistible sway she held over both the ancient deities and mortal men. As regent ruler of Imperial Japan following the death of her emperor husband, Jingo was determined to make Korea her own. According to Japanese lore, she beguiled Ruijin, the Japanese dragon god of the sea, to lend her his magical tide jewels. She then used the tide jewels to create favorable tides that destroyed the Korean fleet and safely guided the Japanese fleet to the Korean peninsula. From there, she commanded and cajoled her armies to an illustrious campaign of conquest that secured her exalted status within Japanese cultural history. Jingo purportedly had amazing powers of persuasion over the human reproductive cycle as well. Pregnant with her son at the time of the invasion, Jingo remained in Korea for the duration of the campaign, which by all accounts lasted well beyond the length of a normal term. Legend has it, however, that she delayed giving birth until after the conquest Zenobia. Like Boudica before her, our third warrior queen Zenobia made her name by leading an army against the mighty Romans. Unlike the Celtic queen, however, Zenobia would experience a much different fate for her actions. Zenobia and her husband, Odenathus, ruled the prosperous Syrian city of Palmyra. Though technically subordinate to Odenathus, she certainly didn't take a backseat to him. She established herself as a warrior queen by riding at her husband's side into battle against the Persians, often overshadowing her more reserved mate. Zenobia became the undisputed ruler of Palmyra in 267, following the assassination of Odenathus, which some attribute to Zenobia herself. As an ostensible ally of Rome, Zenobia launched a campaign of conquest in the Middle East. Within 3 years, she expanded her realm to Syria, Egypt, and much of Asia Minor. Flushed with success, Zenobia declared Palmyra's independence from Rome. But in 272, the Romans struck back. Zenobia was up for the fight, but her forces were overextended. The Romans easily captured Zenobia's outlying territories before laying siege to Palmyra itself. After its fall, Palmyra was destroyed, and Zenobia was captured. She was taken to Rome and paraded in golden chains before Emperor Aurelian. But even in defeat, Zenobia triumphed. The striking beauty with the defiant stride struck a chord with Aurelian, who later pardoned her and allowed her to live a life of luxury on an estate outside Rome. Well, that worked pretty well in her favor, I guess. Yeah, there is another one, but I can't pronounce it. So I'm not going to read that because I feel like when I read these, I have to read, like, you know, the name like 50 times, and I have no idea how to pronounce that one, so I'm not going to try. But that actually went well. I must have talked a little bit slower than usual because usually I have to go back and do like different categories again. Like do a different animal category and stuff. But yeah, I just did every category once, so that's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed all of those facts. I have no idea how many it was. But yeah, the rain is definitely picking up right now, so I hope you don't mind the raininess too much. I love it. Love it, love it, love the rain so much, which I understand is weird, but like, I love it. It's also better for filming because you're watching it.